Far across the land and sea, U to be a Gooner. 5,000 miles away, a few Arsenal Bangalore fans come together to discuss all things Arsenal. Welcome to the Bangalore Gooners podcast.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Bangalore Gooner podcast. This is a part of the series that we are going to start. There's no football activity happening, so we are going to do a regular podcast every week. So this is a series of the analysis of the season that is gone. We look forward to the upcoming season and everything about Arsenal. So over to you, Kirti. You want to go ahead?
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Arsenal Bangalore podcast. So we have multiple topics we want to talk across this off season. I know even though the off season is a little short, today we're going to take off with regards to a review of our players' rating and their performances in the last season. I know it was an on and off season, but we're going to go through the players, talk about their best performance maybe and the worst performance, and then maybe as a group overall agree upon a rating for them as well, right? So that thing that's that's the goal today for us, and we will be having a couple of others guys joining in as well. This is more going to be more of a discussion of maybe a season review plus a players rating kind of thing, and we'll be going through players one by one, talk about their performances and what do we think about their overall performance for the season. So I think let's get started. Ankur, so if you can bring up the first player and then we can start talking about them. So kicking off with maybe one of the best players for this particular season is Bernd Leno, according to me. Pulled us out of the hole multiple times with regards to his shot stopping and maybe better distribution as well. But Vinay, your thoughts on Leno and what do you see him from his performance over the last season?
Well, if we go by the overall ratings across Arsenal fans worldwide, he's been voted the second best player of the season for us. That's right on Arsenal.com for anyone thinking, where am I getting this from? So if he's rated the second best player of the season, the problem for me is that means he's been worked up quite a bit. I mean, he's worked out quite a lot from what has happened in front of him, that means that the defense ratings from my side will be absolutely poor for most people. But Leno, 7 on 10, if I'm keeping it short, has had, as you rightly said, saved our ass quite a bit, but has had still that sense that he's not the complete picture. It's not the finished article still. Commanding in the box is something that he needs to be better. There is still this air of acceptance that with most Arsenal goalkeepers across the years that we've been watching, they're extremely good shot stoppers, extremely good in terms of ensuring even the one-on-ones. I think they're very, very good. But where we keep hoping for is the leader in the defense. The goalkeeper is your leader along with your centre backs. Leno needs to be more vocal. Leno needs to be probably admonishing his defense far more and having a more commanding presence in the box. His distribution isn't as good. I know we are going to go to Martinez next, but just the comparison between the two, I think Martinez has the better distribution, but Leno is the better goalkeeper. So I'm going for a 7 on 10. Is he the second best player of the season? I think I'll probably, if you give me a chance at the end of the rating, I would like to go and say who are my top three at that time.
Okay, fair enough. I think something else that I want to bring up just to Leno that I saw is his in the air performance. Right, whenever the ball comes from set piece, he's not comfortable with clearing them out. A couple of games that I remember, he missed the balls completely, and we ended up conceding. I think that was the bad that I saw. But apart from it, from a shot stopping perspective, there were a couple of good performances against the bigger teams as well. I think that's what I remember of Stan, that he had to go off of an injury against Brighton after the restart. But do rest of you guys agree to 7 on 10 with regards to Leno?
I go with the 8 on 10. I mean, by far he's been the best player till the injury. Martinez, I do not know if there's a communication problem though. So that's something that probably we will have to look at if he has communication issues, not from a language, but talking to the back four. So that's the only thing that I can think of. Martinez has been amazing. I'm not going to take away what he's done in the last couple of months. Having said that, I'm not going to be biased. Argentinian fan.
I was
Martinez
about
has
to
a.
say that Argentina bias.
And no, I am not going to be biased. So he has a long way to go, and I've seen that in Europa games. I think for people who want to judge him, you got to actually see how he was in some of the Europa games. Maybe he was a little younger. Yes, with time he is going to become better. I think he is taller. That makes sense. His crosses, as in passes, are amazing, which is great. I think that's something that Leno can work on. But as a keeper, he still has a long way to go. But in a team, right? I mean, when you look at the likes of Chelsea, City, uh, even Liverpool for that matter, right? I don't think those keepers are exceptionally awesome. It's just that the team makes that keeper good, and a lot of uh, the best teams over the years, we would rate keepers a lot out of those winning teams. But I think the team makes the keeper better, unless you are a Buffon or the likes those types. So he for me is still nice, and he deserves a 8 for what he's done this season, and amazing. A lot of games, if it was not for Leno, probably would have been losing like a 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah, I think if I may jump in, one thing that we tend to forget is that it was Leno who has I mean who was saving us all those games. Um, it might have the games that we've lost might have we might have ended up losing with a couple of more goals in. The games that we've drawn, we would have probably lost, and the games that we held on, again, if not for Oba, if not for Oba, I think the only guy, I think we all spoke about this. If not for Oba, it was Leno who was saving us game in game out, because our defense was terrible before Arteta stepped in and uh, you know sorted it out. Yeah, even he had to get the things right, with the discipline and all that. But I think Leno was right up there before the restart, and it was unfortunate where he ended up on the injury side. But luckily for us, Martinez has done an equally good job, and the silverware, the title is an evidence of that. But before I even rate, I want to ask you guys, if it was Arteta the whole season. I know it's been a long season. If Arteta was there even since the beginning, um, how much of a an improvement, or how much of an improvement the defense would have seen, and that in turn, would it have made Leno a better keeper? Because, like Jomi mentioned, all the other big teams, they are made to look good because of their good defense. So would that have had some sort of an affect on Leno's performance as well?
I think if I can answer that, the way you keep a goalkeeper on his toes is if you have a very strong competition. I think if Arteta gets a full season, which he's going to get in about 6 weeks' time from now, not even six, frankly, uh, Leno will not be able to take his place for granted, which I think almost all of us agreed that he is going to play anytime he is fit. Now with Martinez's performances from the restart, and this suddenly means Leno would be looking behind his shoulder and seeing where is Martinez. One bad game, and you suddenly know that he could be pulled up. Arteta will ensure there is competition, and I think that's good. So I really think that Leno's place as number one is undisputed. But how long can he continue thinking that this is for granted? That's not going to be the case, because everyone will sooner or later, if he makes one mistake, he's in a very tough position. If once he comes back, there is no guarantee that he's going to start one. And if he starts and if he makes a mistake, then everyone will be baying for blood, because they will say, Martinez is there, why did you not play him? So it's going to be an interesting one. To answer your question, Anjan, I think Arteta's full season starts in 4 weeks' time. So a lot of questions I think will be answered as we go in now.
And Anchan,
Yeah,
welcome back. I know you're not well, and we are happy that you've taken up the hosting for the podcast. I mean, which is rightly
yeah.
yours. So, so hope you're
Thank
doing good, and take us through the podcast.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Jomi. So I agree with most of what Vinay you mentioned, and I would probably go with a 7 on a 10 for Leno. Have we already discussed Martinez's rating as well? Have you guys
No, no, no.
rated him?
Not yet.
Yeah, yeah. If you see the other than the performance for a goalkeeper, you would want to have that physical attribute, right? Martinez is tall, he is physical as compared to someone like a Leno. Leno seems a little bit more agile. Does that work in Martinez's favor? You guys think so?
I think looking at it from with regards to where all we considered this whole season, right? Again, the percentage of set pieces that we have considered, that's like about 44% of all the goals we considered this season was set pieces. I think having Martinez gives us a little more calm with regards to that. His grasping capabilities from corners or from crosses is better compared to Leno. Shot stopping maybe not, but I think that's where that we can see contrasting differences with regards to the positive attributes of both these guys. I think that's why we are at a point where I agree to Vinay's point telling that Leno is undisputed number one, but it's Martinez is not too far off with regards to whatever capabilities that Martinez is bringing in. It's basically as Vinay told, if there's one mistake, everyone's going to ask why did Martinez play that, and if the same
Yeah,
thing happens with Martinez, same thing's going to happen with Leno, where they might be telling why not play Leno at this point.
yeah, but so Kirti, see, my point is, um, the change in Martinez happened post the lockdown when he got a chance when Leno was injured. It's not like Martinez never got a chance. So he did get his chances, right? At least the last two seasons. And you could see mistakes that are very, I mean, that's something that gets repeated um, again and again. Now, you have to decide whether you want to rate Martinez just for that last 2 months or you're going to rate him for the whole season because he did play games this season. It's not like he hasn't.
Yeah, that's a valid point because the kind of games that we've had before the restart, all the players, I mean, if given a chance, we would never rate anyone except Pogba maybe before the season. It was that kind of season. But like you said, he did get his chance. It's not like he's here for the first season or second season. It's been a decade, right? So he's had his chance. Maybe not in the longer run. Maybe not at a competitive level. Maybe not consistent enough to keep him on his toes. But he's grabbed whatever has been presented to him. Again, only for the victory, only for the title FA Cup win. I would rate him, slightly above Leno, maybe a 7.5. 5 just for the emotional factor that has been here, and finally got a chance to lift the cup playing in the final. So that's my rating.
Yeah,
I would
so
disagree there, right? I would listening to Jomi's point, right? Now that I realize he did play all of the Europa League, all the league matches initially before we went into the knockout. I think from that perspective, if you see, I didn't see any convincing performances in those matches as well. We did concede goals there as well. I think if that goes by whatever you want to evaluate them across for the whole year, I would rate him at somewhere around 6 and not 7, because I would still rate Leno over Martinez for the whole season. Overall, for the whole season, I understand the FA Cup and the emotions that's come behind it, but I would still prefer and would put in Leno ahead of Martinez.
Absolutely. I think over the season, we will have to tell that Leno has had a better season.
yeah, so I'm going to go with Leno 8 and Martinez 7. I would have rated him a 6. That one is for being an Argentinian fan and for the fact that he did great for the semi-final and the finals. That's emotions I'm giving him. See, you know what's a good thing? The good thing is, I mean, people listening in might think, "Oh my God, here we go again." Typical Arsenal fans these days. The good thing is he's still a kid in goalkeeping terms, goalkeeper terms, and he has a long, long, long career ahead of him and a long time to go. If he decides to stay with us, he is definitely going to go places. And if he's going to show what he did in the last 2 months, I'm sure that maybe at Arsenal, he can be number one, and he can do great in future too, and he can actually give a fight to Leno, and it's a good thing to have in that position. I mean, we just started with goalkeeping, right? I mean, there are a lot of other positions that we will have to talk about players um, that are going to have a lot of criticism. So it's not a criticism that I want to talk about Martinez, but keeping Leno as a benchmark, I think he still has to go a little more to be confirmed number one spot for Arsenal. That's all my point is.
Yeah, true. I think we'll have to move on. Ankur, you might want to draw some number for Martinez. All right. I don't think Matt Macy has featured enough, or even featured to rate him. But he's tall. We'll give him that. Moving on, Hector Byron, jump in with your thoughts and ratings.
5 on 10, and that's being very generous. Hardly played,
Yeah, I
and
think
whenever he played, hasn't really installed any confidence.
Again, was it to
true,
do
but
with the injury that he got when he played against Chelsea? That was a bad injury that he got. I know he has lost his pace, whatever he had a couple of seasons back when he was part of the team of the season for the whole Premier League. I think does injuries hasn't pushed him down. I think from a quality perspective, again, we had always had issues of him like not having good crossing skills, and again, how much ever he tries to blow it off, his crossing skills are not there at all, and him losing his pace might not be a good thing for us as well, because that's the only thing that we would use to look forward towards him, where he would go ahead and bomb forward. But apart from it, I think completely agree on his performance this season with 5 on.
This is where
Yeah,
it. Sorry, Ankur. No, I was just going to say this is where it gets very exciting, right? Except for one player, I'm sure it's going to be a sub five zone for Arsenal. So, uh,
He is 10, I think. 110 and rest all 5 and less.
No,
yeah,
as
no, no, there's another player whom will give definitely more than five in the defense only.
Oh my
okay.
God.
Oh, this is going to get exciting. So, yeah, for me,
no,
this one.
Ankur,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. So, Ankur, do you think, speaking philosophically and all those things, has life come a full circle for Bellerin because he got injured, a long-term injured. Nobody, uh, I mean, it was not expected that he would carry the rustiness deep into the season, but he was rusty for a very long time, even after the injury. He got injured against Chelsea, and the run that he made in the finals against Chelsea sort of led to the goal. So, your thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't say yet that we have seen the complete circle because Bellerin is still not back in what we expect him to be or what is Bellerin's best. Having said that, yes, he had a very sad injury last season with an ACL, and how we all know that ACL is such a big injury and affected so many careers. Having said that, looking at the Bellerin's performance, if I have to go to the ratings as such, if we are setting five as the standard rating in the marking scheme or whatever you want to call that, I think Bellerin deserves a five because we haven't seen neither a very good performance or an extremely good performance from Bellerin. Neither have we seen a very very shocking performance when he has led up to goals. He has been extremely poor. He hasn't been able to mark the player he was supposed to at all. So overall, yes, Bellerin is not up to his level. Hopefully, he comes back in his full fitness or its full level next season. I would give him a five.
Quick
No,
question
unless
to the guys. If he is put in the market and we get a decent price, do we sell or keep?
No, we keep because we don't have a backup. Cedric, I don't think so. Cedric is good enough to be first choice to play all the games. Neither is Maitland Niles. And again, I go back to the previous post match. Looking at the priority list as of now, right back shouldn't be our priority. So we keep hold of Bellerin.
Okay, let me make
I,
it a
I,
little
I
bit
would
more
differ.
complicated.
No,
Sorry,
I
KP,
would
a little bit more complicated then. We can put one of the two on the in the market, Bellerin or Niles.
Yeah, I think
I'll
that
sell
perspective.
Niles.
Yeah, from that perspective, I would have Nathan Niles given a complete season overall because there were like sometime last season and this season as well, right? He was actually ahead of Bellerin even when Bellerin was starting. No, not his preferred place to start, and he doesn't want to play at right back or right wing back. But given a chance, apart from one or two red cards, which were not supposed to red cards and couple of bad games, he kind of has been more consistent compared to Bellerin. Again, maybe Bellerin has gone missing in games. But if we get a good offer for Bellerin, I read a comment somewhere telling that he might want to go back after 8 years in Arsenal. But it is, I would right now, given the chance it is, I would tell fine, go ahead and move him on. Because I know we have Cedric who came in again. He's older, but I would make sure that Maitland Niles doesn't leave because at that point we have him there.
So what are we giving Bellerin then? Five?
Yeah, fine.
5.
I mean, it's funny because unless you have a photographic memory, you wouldn't kind of recall everything that has happened this past season because it was a very long one for obvious reasons. So, like Ankur said, there hasn't been an eye-catching performance, not just one, maybe a couple of above average ones when the team was doing well overall, or maybe against weakened opposition. But yeah, I don't think he has done that well. But to answer your question, Vinay, if I mean if you read the news or the news reports about our transfers, everybody seems to be on sale. Torreira wants to go somewhere. We want to sell Niles. Bellerin wants to leave himself. So it's all speculations now, and looks like everybody's up for sale. And we've ordered for a couple of ex Premier League players. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk about our transfers. So yeah, that's what the guys have rated 5. If Bellerin sees this, he might want to leave immediately. Um, I would
No,
I
no,
would
but just
He might as well.
I would
He
probably
might. I hope he might as well plant some more extra trees because it's
no, no,
benefits for the
no,
environment.
no. But
wow,
I
what
think
what
it's
a point, what a point.
it's more about how
Go
we're
on,
going to
go on.
rate the rest of the players. Since we've rated 5 for Bellerin, we put a benchmark now. So more characters are coming up now. So that's going to be interesting. So can I
Yeah,
go next? Can I
yeah,
go?
yeah.
Can
So
I go with Tierney?
yeah, before you go, Ankur, I you wanna change that to 5.3, point 3 for the 3,000 trees.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
moving on.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. Tierney, Jomi.
Yeah, Tierney. So this is going to be. I'll tell you what I'm going to do and then why. Okay, I'm going to rate him 12 out of 10, and I'm okay. Maybe a little exaggerated. The only reason why I'm going to rate like that is because he is one player after, I don't know, after decades maybe, that I see a lot of promise, and I don't want to jinx it, and I just hope that he continues to play what he's shown in the last few games, because that's when he's getting back to form and he started playing regularly. He seems to be a person who exactly knows what he's doing, and I just hope he continues to do that, and that's the only reason. Okay, okay, let me not rate him 12, but um, honestly, I would give him a 7.5 out of 10. For him to start how he did, I think he had a very good season, and he can be happy about what he did. I think the kid is well balanced. He's got his basics right. He still has a lot to learn. Okay, so I'm not saying he's a finished product. He still has a lot to learn, but I see a lot of promise in him, and I'm very excited. I'm excited only about a few players, and he's one of them. Very, very excited about him for us.
Absolutely, every single word that Jomi said. Maybe not a 12 on 10, other than that, everything else. So happy to see him. So happy to see him play. So happy that he puts his head down and realizes that he's made a mistake. Goes back to the basics. He's a proper defender. You will get all heart from him every 90 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever he plays. So I agree. Would have been in my top three players of the season, frankly, simply because coming from a different league, a league which is definitely inferior compared to the Premier League, gone through another surgery, another injury, has come back. Did have one bad game after the restart. Let's be honest. We all are gloating about him, but the fact was he did have one bad game. I don't remember. Was it the Brighton game? Uh, or I'm really forgotten that. But the boy, if I can still say that, is all heart, will give his 100% every single game. Don't even be surprised if he gives that 100% in a preseason game as well. So very happy to see him play for us. Always wanted him from a long time. So for me, an 7.5, I agree. That 2.5 is simply because he needs experience, and that point 0.5 gone is one bad performance. 7.5, wouldn't be surprised if it's an 8 as well. And for me, among the top three for the season.
yeah, so I think Vinay, sometime back when I said that there will be one defender whom will give more than 5,
I
I
knew
am
you would
happy
say
that,
this. I agree.
yeah, I am happy that all of us are kind of agreeing to this. I think most of the points has already been taken care of. I just want to add one more thing, that he also comes as an his impact has been immense. I know that he is potentially replacing, or he plays in the left back position where we had Nacho Monreal, who was fairly doing decently. He wasn't that bad, but looking at the way he has been providing assists, he has been doing his defensive roles, being when he plays as the left centre back role or whenever he plays the left back role. I think for a guy who has come from a different league in his injured first couple of months, he was injured because he carried with an injury. Then he got a couple of games, then he again got injured. Taking all that into aspect, the way he has performed, I think definitely he deserves a 7.5 or an 8. I think we can say, since we have given Leno 7, I think if we are going in that, if I can say harsh marking scheme, then I think we should give 7.5 to TNE as well.
Yeah, I agree with most of the points that Jovi mentioned. I think one of the things that we can see is some sort of partnership developing between Oba and Tierney, right? It's all you would have never expected to see, or something that would happen, because Oba is all flashy, the stylish, whereas Tierney is kind of down to earth, very humble guy, um, all those things. So it's very interesting to see that partnership developing, and if and when Oba signs, it will be interesting to see how they both combine well, and it's going to be a fun and exciting thing to watch them play. Like when I mentioned, Tian is all heart, and I absolutely adore him. He's so humble, and he know what's it to play for a beat any football club that he's played. He know how what is it to play for the club, and he's taken it to his heart, and the performance are a reflection of that. So I'd also rate him a 7.5 out of 10. Not entirely sure if he would make the top three because of the injury and all those things, but definitely in the top five.
So I do
If
not
you're
know about
around, you.
no, I do not know about the humble part though. He looks very humble and sweet, but I think from those ad shoots, you can see that this guy has a different face to it. So he looks very sweet.
He has a
Yeah,
mean streak in him for sure.
yeah. He's very young, and maybe
Sorry.
over the years.
Shoddy network. Yeah. So I think
One of those rare times that Kirti has a bad network issue.
something that we're missing is mainly with regards to the crossing abilities, right? And Anjan's point with regards to connecting and the link up play with Oba has been brilliant. We've been seeing that in the past few games, and I think overall with regards to what he has done, I'm pretty happy, and someone that we are excited to look forward to. He has a lot of years ahead of time. Only thing that he has to do is stay fit and not get injured.
All right, so we'll move on. Ankur, you might want to take this. Papa Socrates.
Papa, I think we shouldn't rate because he hasn't featured enough in this season. If we can set something as a standard, say 2 or a 3 or a 1 to someone who has featured very less games, I think we should just give that to Socrates and go ahead. Which is sad because I mean I have been discussing this with you guys. You guys would be knowing that we all know what has been happening with the situation with the couple of other players that who have become out of favor and they are not being featured in the squad. Let's not go in that. But Socrates is very one strange case that we don't know actually. And Socrates is someone who makes the bench and yet doesn't uh, get the chance to play either as a substitute or he gets a chance to play in the playing 11. Whereas we use the likes of Kolasinac and all in the centre back position. So that is kind of sad. I would love to have known through the various correspondence and Arsenal Twitter that what exactly is the reason behind him not playing or not featuring enough games for us. But yeah, having said that, I think I mean, what do we rate him? How on what basis do we rate him? Because he has played such less games. We can just give him a say standard 2 or a standard 3 and just move on to the next player. I feel.
Yeah, Socrates has become a papa
Yeah,
this time, so a 2 out of 10. So Ankur is being a very sweet
yeah,
fan. He didn't. I mean, he
yeah.
didn't
I
feature
think
because he was not good enough.
No, I see he was not good enough. I
that's
know, but do you really think that if given an option of having a centre back, I would essentially love to see Socrates over Kolasinac. We know both of them are not good enough. But if you are short on a centre back position, say if all of when Pablo Mari got injured, I think I would rather have Socrates than have Kolasinac, or rather have Socrates and use Tierney in the left wing back or left back role, while Tierney has been more effective than the left centre back role in which he played for a couple of games. Just for the sole reason of that, I think Socrates should have got more games. I don't
no.
say that he's. Yeah, go on,
No, I
Anand.
think we should agree with what Jomi said. I don't think he's good enough with which is what I think Arteta even thinks. Maybe doesn't fit the bill in terms of the style of play that he wants. So I think we will move on because I mean in the Ars blog ratings post game, I read this segment where they mention not on for enough minutes to rate. So that is kind of the case with Papa. So we will move on. Um, so I think it's the case with Cedric also. We will get on to the other two centre backs, the remaining centre backs. But Cedric, he was also injured, and I think the quite few games that he played, he was sort of rusty and maybe not up to the pace of the game. So do you guys wanna rate him or should we move on?
No, I think we can do the same for Pablo as Mari as well, because Mari also hasn't. I think we can just give all three of them a standard 2 out of 10, and maybe
No,
Chambers as well.
no, Mari. I don't know. I mean, you should probably rate him minus for that injury that he got, getting a kick on his leg by a ball. So Cedric, I think, should get to 2 because of the goal. I don't know about Mari, man. I mean, why would you want to rate 2 for him? He played with the kids till that one game.
Okay, I would have rated 2
Yeah.
because I think we made a standard 2 for those players who haven't featured much.
So so
So
you
just for that,
so entirely you are trying to put Mustafi and Lewis in a 3 and the 4 category.
kind of. But let's see.
We'll see.
Let's go on
See,
to
we
Mustafi and Luis.
will we will definitely get some surprising ratings there. I don't want to talk about Chambers. He has got injured. I hope he recovers well. What holds the future, I don't know. We'll see. Holding, guys, what do you think? I think he has been rusty. He has been decent in one or two games that he played. Maybe one extremely good game, I believe. Apart from that, he lacks pace maybe after the injury, but he's young for a centre back. I don't know if he has time to learn or get better. I would rate him, I don't know, 5 again. What do you guys reckon?
Who for holding 5? Hello,
Yep, maybe
sorry,
for one good
are we
game,
discussing holding?
I yeah, we are discussing holding. Maybe for that one good game, I don't know. Was it City? I would rate him a point 0.5 extra.
No, man. I think Holding has had a poor season. I mean, it's also a case of Bellerin where he got injured and he came back after a long injury. But Bellerin's performance has been poorer than Holding. So, sorry, Holding's performance has been poorer than Bellerin. So, if we are giving Bellerin 5, Holding deserves a 4.
I really don't think so. I think Holding has been all right. If you're going to be very critical about the other two who's coming up, um, then Holding, I think, he's done his job. I mean, let's be honest, the finals he played, he didn't have anything to do in the finals. Um, Whenever he's been asked to do a job, he does. It seems as if he's psyched up to play the big games, which is good. He plays better in big games and loses concentration in the smaller ones. So you know who needs to be played in these big games. Then maybe one-offs. He's one
Vinay,
of those.
we just finished eighth, so a lot more of these smaller games have become big games for us.
True. That's why I sense that he is one of those who turns up for these kind of one-off games and big games and ask him to be consistent. You won't get two or three consistent performances from Holding. I don't expect him. So I don't see him starting for the same reason that no coach will really feel that he is consistent enough to play in a long run. But I think 5 on 10, I don't think so he's been bad. I can't recollect anything where he's made a huge blunder or has been shown up quite obviously. The overall defense rating itself will be 4 or 5. Let's be honest, because Tierney is the odd exception. So I think five is a decent one. 4 is too harsh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would give
fair
him a
enough.
4.5.
That's been very nice.
I go with Xiaomi
Yeah.
also, since every one of you are being nice. So shall we settle on 4.5 for Holding?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because I'm
Now the
desperate
I think
to
it's
move.
interesting.
even I am
And
desperate to
Yeah,
discuss the
I think the
next
two people we should discuss are the ones left at the last. So I think we should quickly rate. I think we will all agree on this.
Or should we just say no comments and then move on?
I just want to add a comment, right?
no, no, no,
Again,
it's
I've been
very
listening with
important.
regards to what is happening on Holding, right? If you guys look at it with regards to center backs, apart from Tainey, I would say Mustafi has been more consistent compared to Holding and Luis. Again, you guys can hold me to it, but overall the season, I'm talking about the overall season.
Oh, I
I
agree.
think
I agree.
one thing we
Yeah.
guys
The
are
big
conveniently forgetting is this after the break restart feels like a new season. So I think you guys are having a very short memory. I think you should stretch your imagination a little bit and remember last August when it all started
As
from there.
as soon as
This
as
is
soon
a
as we
season this is a season
as
rating, not the mini season rating.
as the time approached for
yeah.
Mustafi and Louis, we have our Vinay back finally.
No, both are same
No, no.
Mustafi,
So before
honestly,
we
if
go
you're
to
doing
go to yeah, before we go to Mustafi, I think Holding was someone who I wanted to do well right from the day he was uh, put on the field against Leicester. I guess did the famous Wenger comments where he says, "I'm sorry he didn't cost 50 million, so we can't talk about his performance." So I think right from that day, just like how I have a nice sort of a liking towards the Tierney, I had this uh, towards Holding. I do again as well, but I somewhere feel that he has. Sort of let his guard down, maybe not working hard enough. Uh, um, I mean, the fact that Arteta trusts and puts Mustafi on the field says that. But like Vinay mentioned, he is a big match player. He has played in those two cup finals that he has won. So good on him. I hope he does even better, maybe to have a 6 or 7 if and when he plays next season. Moving on, the big sliding German, as we had a chant for him famously. Go on.
Yeah, to Vinay's point, right? I agree that overall, from a season perspective, yeah, initially he screwed up, he went out, but just before the lockdown, as soon as Arteta started playing and had a proper defense, I think Mustafiz was the one who was consistent and was playing all the games, and which we went unbeaten until we got beat by City. So Vinay, I'm not just thinking from a post-lockdown perspective, but even again, I'm not telling that he had his bad issues with regards to missing a few things here. But looking at all the center backs that we had this season, with regards to consistent performance across all the 38 games and the other games as well, I would say Mustafi was a more consistent player. I'm not telling he's good. I'm telling he was more consistent with his performance, compared to, even to Holding. Again, Holding might not have gotten enough chances. He had his injuries, but I would say Mustafi would be somewhere around 4 or 4.5 itself, and not less than that.
So, if I may, right? Jokes apart, I know a lot of people were thinking that they're going to get a minus, but the fact is, the only problem with Mustafi and Lewis is the fact that we were making fun of David Lewis, saying, "Is he going to turn up like how he played against City the first game, or is he going to turn up how he turned up the second games?" Right. So that's where the problem is with these two. On their day, they both are good, but then they have their off days, and that what kills the team, right? I mean, both of them can take turns and mess about 5 games for us, and that 5 games would be important for us to reach the top four, or even get into a position where we can do great things for the league. I honestly wouldn't want to rate them, but the fact is, they should be somewhere around 4. Um, all the defenders were pathetic this season. Let's be very honest. Bellerin not been that great either. So we've given him a 5.2, 5.3. I think Mustafi and Taylor should also get about 4.5, I guess, because Kolasinac should get even lesser.
I think that's
I think
unanimous.
just
Anyone
to
who
add,
rates Kolasinac in a positive score number should be crucified.
I mean,
Should be
so
rated.
that's where the problem is. We put the benchmark for 2, right, as the least. So that's where the problem is. He has to get a 3.
I think I agree to Jomi on Mustafi. I think 4 is a decent number, not because we've been nice to him, but he has had good games. Remember the podcast before the North London derby when we just said that he has deserved the chance to play by merit because of his performances, and then he had a shocker again. That's the problem with Mustafi. Uh, you
see, North
just
London
about
derby
get
also.
convinced and then gone.
Sorry to interrupt in between. North London derby also. Mustafi wasn't that bad until he made that horrendous slide in front of Kane inside the box, which we
Exactly.
are lucky that we were lucky that we didn't concede a penalty or what. Apart from that, Mustafi wasn't poor in that game
No,
as
I'm just saying that confidence is gone, and deep down, I think that confidence is gone in him also. He doesn't want to be rushed. He doesn't like this playing from the back. It's so very apparent. We can keep talking. I mean, let's not get into that. 4 is a decent number that has been put. All of us have, I think, agreed. The one that is going to be very interesting is David Luiz. Remember the overall package, not just the David Luiz against Man City.
yeah.
Which,
On that,
which
we
Man
have
City, Vinay? Which Man City?
Which Man City? Exactly. He did nothing wrong in that semi-final, so there was only one Man City game that he will be remembered.
No, no, no.
Yeah, I think we all agree with Mustafi. But then again, the kind of confidence that Arteta has shown him, maybe because others are not around to be trusted with, he has sort of improved. There has been mistakes, no doubt, but maybe it sort of come down. But I agree. I think four is decent. Remember, I think there was one more sliding challenge against Sterling also. Uh, but thankfully, we have the cup in our hands now. Um, all
The
right. So
penalty one,
moving
right?
on.
It was
Isn't he
the
on
penalty one, right?
isn't he in the market to be sold, or are we retaining him? I mean, if that's the
I
choice,
think
we should retain Holding.
I think because we don't have scouts these days, so I think we are retaining a lot of them.
And he's injured, right?
Mm,
And I think Mustafi is injured as well, so selling him might be a little more difficult as well.
yeah,
Yes,
true.
that's where the problem is. So He's going to be scouting for us for till October, November, I guess.
I
Uh,
think I think are we the only club that goes ahead and buys guys even if they're injured? I haven't seen other clubs do that a lot.
No, Willian transfer was a very funny one, right? Because he had given a medical in Liverpool, which is supposedly failed the medical. Then he joined Chelsea the very next day, and he passed the medical there.
No, no, I'm not talking about the medical. I'm just talking about players being injured and re-signing
Yeah,
it,
so
right?
if he failed the medical means he was either injured or he was
No,
not
no, no,
fit.
no. So medical doesn't mean it's injury. Injury basically means you're not fit to play. Medical is basically to check whether you're fit enough to actually play football and actually doing those your heartbeats checks and all those things. So what I am
So you
talking
mean
about
to
is
say Willian was, according to Liverpool stats, Willian was
fit enough,
not
maybe
fit
not.
enough to play football?
Not fit enough to play football. Again, they will have their own things. So if you look at the cricket thing, we have some number, some number is there, right? I forgot the name.
Yeah, I get it, I get it.
So something like that. So that metrics is what they do from a medical perspective. So what I am talking about, sorry, yeah,
no, no, no. I was just saying we can keep that for another day because
yeah, yeah.
we signed players with broken backs
That's
because
why
we
I'm
were.
bringing that point.
Exactly. We are the only
And
club in this world who will sign Kim Kallstrom. Don't worry.
He's a
and
legend. He is a legend. Kim
and
Kallstrom
one of the
helped us. Won us the
yeah.
FA Cup, Vinay. What is wrong with you?
Just to deviate,
Okay.
okay, Vinay, just not to break your heart, your favorite non-Arsenal player is not starting today. I don't know why the club is not starting him today.
Benzema is
Um,
not starting.
no,
Silva,
not Benzema, Silva.
Silva. Okay,
Silva is not starting. Okay.
Okay, let's
One,
go to
the other one
Kolasinac.
is playing golf somewhere.
Okay, Kolasinac. So before that, I think David Luiz. For me personally, I would give
three.
David Luiz a 3. Why?
Yeah,
I'll tell you. 1 point for the
No, no.
Liverpool game.
Before you go on, yeah, with the time that we've spent, we would rate these two guys, and then probably discuss the midfielders and the attackers in a part two of this episode. I think that would be a good way to go. So
yeah,
go
fair
on,
enough.
Ankur.
Yeah,
Yeah, go on,
Okay,
Ankur.
so what I was, since we have decided discussing both these players, David Luiz, I will give 3 just for the sole reason. 1 point for the Liverpool game, 1 point for the Man City's FA Cup semi-final, and 1 point for his leadership skills what he brings onto the pitch. Apart from that, a defender conceding 5 penalties in a season, the maximum in whole of Europe, if I am not wrong. I think he doesn't deserve anything more than that. For me, David Luiz a 3, and Kolasinac, Jumi. Sorry to break your heart because you thought that we have decided the minimum as 2 for Pablo Mari and Cedric. I would give Kolasinac a 0. He has been absolutely piss poor this season. If I have to call the worst player of this season, has to be Kolasinac. For me, Kolasinac is 0 out of 10.
Yeah, so he is definitely the worst player, but I don't know why people are talking a lot about Mari because unfortunately that's the only game that I saw, and I saw him getting injured by a ball, and I would then rate him minus. So
No, see,
I
injury, you still have that that factor that okay, maybe his luck wasn't good that day. Injury you can still consider. Kolasinac wasn't injured, and so many games he played, so many games he got a chance. He played as a left centre back. He played as a left back. All the games he has played was poor. Not even a single decent even performance also Kolasinac didn't have. So I
this is
think he deserves 0.
yeah. So this is what you get when you get players for free and they don't have super agents. So uh, yeah, you got to live with it,
But
right? I
Romy,
mean,
before just when we got him, he was supposedly the best left back in the Bundesliga. He was there in the team of the season.
that's how bad that league is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is right. He was in the team of the season. I remember I was traveling in a bus and there was an article on him. I was not able to read, so I put on my headphones. I was listening to this article where it was all a very colorful world where Kolasinac was the best left back. Then I think after the seasons that he's had with us. it makes me realize even a player like Mustafi, for all the ratings that we've given him, sort of, maybe has shown some sort of improvement. Again, goes back to the Sky Sports ad or some image where they discuss about how three of our center backs cannot be coached. So I think they should remove all those three guys, maybe put in Kolasinac's image there. I don't know. I would give him a 1 out of 10, just for the games that he has been in
Participation.
the, yeah, for all the
Participation
games
certificate.
that, games that he has started and we have won. For that, he gets a 1. David Luiz, I mean, for all the good games that he has had, if not for the 5 penalties that he has given away, which is absolutely shocking. I mean, which defender? It's not even his first season to give away 5 penalties. He has played all over the world for all the big clubs and whatnot. Yet here is giving 5 penalties, which is absolutely not acceptable. So even though um, he is good at heart, because he talks in one of the interviews where he accepts all the criticism, says it makes him grow and all those things. So I think he would accept this rating of 3 from me. Uh,
Anjan, that whole interview of accepting his criticism and all, because till then we hadn't signed him for another season. So that was his PR to convince
Come on.
fans and make this make us give him another contract.
He
Yeah,
had the
at least he has
contract.
one
I
or
think he
three.
had the contract by then, Ankur. So it was not before that. I think it was after the City game when he made the comment.
Yeah, so he didn't get contract then, right?
He is not
He got
Mesut
the
Ozil for
contract
all the PR. He
after
is
the
not
interview,
Mesut Ozil for all the PR, man.
because City game happened in what, 17th of June or 18th of June, and he was tied in contact till 30th of June. So
No,
after the
no, no,
City
no,
game,
no, 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 no. After the first City game, after the poor performance, when he got the red card, after that
Yeah,
is when
yeah,
he got a contract signed. That is when we're like, why are we giving him a contract when he didn't perform well? And then he
correct.
came back, and after that he played. So your timing is wrong. Your timeline is wrong.
Okay, so
Yeah, just
so
like Mustafi sliding. Okay, finish up,
I
Mike.
I
Finish up.
I I I will allow Elroy to finish with these two, but then I'm going with David Lewis 4 because Mustafi's got a 4, so he
oh
he needs
no,
to he needs to get a 4. The only reason is it's not all about defending that he does in the team. So there are other things too. So uh, you can always look at those 5 penalties, but he does contribute to what he has to contribute to.
yeah, that is
Um,
there. That's
and before I go ahead, people have already called us worse than AFTV, and I feel like stopping the discussion. So because on that note,
We are getting famous.
Kolasinac at 2 because that's the least we've kept. So Kolasinac at 2.
I would give him one.
Again,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going next, I'm agreeing to, I think, the David Lewis part that Jomi spoke of. 4 is decent simply because I think you have to give one for the leadership. There are a lot of youngsters who reach out to him, a lot of youngsters, it's very apparent on the pitch, who look at him and say, like, okay, he is our go-to person. If only he had kept that brains somewhere which is hidden in that mock of hair, come out once in a while at least, because the
oh my
problem is the
god.
brains. I mean, seriously, the brains is the problem. It's not the heart. Heart is fantastic. I mean, I'm fairly certain his blood pressure is also perfect. So he's probably an ideal person for any doctor. But the problem is the brain. The brain goes for a run the same way he goes on his mazy runs, and that's when disaster strikes. But 4 is good. 4 is not a bad rating when we consider that keeping out Tierney, I think the defense itself is being rated 4 this entire season. Did he deserve an extension? Again, as Joey rightly mentioned, it's not just the on-field; it's also the off-field contribution from each of these players. I remember, I think he was one of the people as a part of convincing, along with Bellerin, for the pay cut as well. A lot of youngsters, I think, are guided by him. And if we do get supposedly a Manolas, or what do you call him? I don't know the pronunciation of him. Another Brazilian coming in,
Gabriel.
and Gabriel Manolas,
Just call
and
him out.
Yeah, and Willian, his former teammate, roommate at Chelsea. So if all these does turn up, then you realize that he's going to be more and more influential. So we could probably name this the Kia Lewis Club sooner or later. So I think four is good. Kolasinac doesn't deserve a rating. It's not because it's a zero or anything. It's just that he is not a left back. He can bulldoze through in German leagues, but
footballer.
yeah, here he cannot. Good for him if he can go back to Germany or if there is any other league, he will be able to do it at a left wing back role. But as a defender, he's absolutely clueless, positionally clueless. If Santos played for I think Goa here, maybe the BFC team here may be a little bit benevolent to offer Kolasinac a contract, maybe 10,000 rupees a month or week. So yeah, maybe that's an opportunity for him to explore. That's
And
the
I think
only thing.
it says a lot that considering the fact that
Oh, hi, Elroy. Hi. We need your food because you are the most fit player amongst all in them. So we need your thoughts as well.
No, I'm saying when it comes to Kolasinac, I mean, considering the fact that even when he was fit, we chose Saka as a left wing back over as a left wing back over him when both were fit, says a lot that uh, I know that we played him as a left centre back, which I still don't understand why, but as a left wing back, we played Saka over him, which shows that even that one position which he was good at is something that we didn't trust him anymore.
But I think there is something about him. There is the managers play him. Arteta plays him. Emery did. Freddie did. Um, so there is something. Maybe it's got to do with the fact that he's not one who complains. You see that the last usual after 90 minutes, 2 minutes of substitution, he's probably the first one who comes out. Doesn't crib much. Haven't had too many controversies. So maybe you need these kind of players in the overall scheme of things. That's the only thing, because talent wise or skill wise, he is not a value add in any sense. Uh, that's the only thing I can think of that makes him stay here. Again, there is absolutely no news that he may be up for sale, which again begs the question that is he a part of Mikel's overall picture for the next season? If he is, then I think even the left back position is sorted, because we are not looking at buying anybody there. It's an interesting time if you are a Kolasinac fan, because I don't know who would want to buy him, and he wouldn't want to leave because his best friend
Crack me.
is also doing the same.
You cracked me up there.
Yeah,
No,
it really does seem that.
I think
Okay,
both of them have had this fact, I think, right? Both of us, let's find two umbrellas and sit till they throw us out.
okay. I
no,
think we
Wait.
have
Vinay, speaking of,
so
well, one second,
so
just
many.
before you,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Vinay, just to add to that point, Arteta has spent £20,000 on a new dog, a watchdog.
Oh,
So you
I
see,
mean,
Arteta doesn't need any security for many of the players for sure. So that's one point to be considered.
yeah, we there could be a factor, all these things. I mean, but again, on a very serious note, I just think he's going to be there next season, the same way I know Ozil would be. Now,
Yeah,
what are they
because
going
his
to
name has
do?
not been mentioned at all in any
Yeah,
of the
there's no
posts which
mention
have come.
whatsoever.
There's no post of him. There are mentions of Nile. There's mention of Niles, Torreira, Socrates, and many others. Even Bellerin's name has come up yesterday, but Kolasinac is one name that is just not popping up as of now.
Yeah, maybe
But
nobody wants to buy him. It could be a part of the swap. I think that's the only thing I can think of, or a free transfer late when the European windows end.
His
Nobody
salary is
realistic wants to buy
150k,
him.
right?
so
So
the thing
150k
is,
for a
yeah, I mean, he also doesn't want to leave, right? So he's happy doing what he's doing, and I think that's where the problem is between a football player who, uh, I mean, he might not be the best example because Ronaldo is one item, right? One character, but that dude, I think, at the age of 52, will be playing in some competitive football league because he wants to win and he wants to play. And I feel very sad for some players that we've had over the years that wants to be just part of the squad and they just want to be there. and they're happy not contributing or not worried about not playing. And I think that's sad, because as a footballer, I think they would want to compete,
No,
and
if
if
you
they
ask,
don't,
no,
yeah,
if you
sorry.
ask me, between Ozil and Kolasinac, at my job, if I am going to be paid that much and not do anything, I would be happy to do that. Or if I'm being paid as little as Kolasinac and still not do anything, I would also do that, because I mean, it's a good thing to do, right? Because
Anjan, but although, see, one thing about Kolasinac, which when I mentioned, one of the reasons why it's probably difficult to sell him is he's not on less. He's because we signed him on free. He's being paid 150K a week, which is a lot
Mm.
more than what others say. So in terms of getting rid
yeah,
of him, his salary is one of the problem. So
yeah,
he
that's why you
technically
can
for
see
the
him
yeah
smiling
for
on the
that
pitch.
for
On
his
the pitch.
quality, he's also living the life of a good life for the salary that he's.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
most importantly, I mean, between the two friends, realistically, Kolasinac has a better chance of playing next season than Ozil. So why would he want to leave before Ozil? He's not going to
Yeah.
leave.
We will discuss about Ozil in our next podcast. We will be rating our midfield and the attack. Probably one of the only guys who would breach the 10 mark, maybe. So we'll see. So thanks, guys, for joining
Oh,
in.
okay.
Thanks,
Before
listeners,
that,
for listening.
I think we should decide finally on what we are going to give Luis and Kolasinac. And since Elroy joined a bit late, and Elroy hasn't got the privilege, if I like to say, to rate
So,
players,
so, so,
so
so, so,
whatever number Elroy
so,
wants to give to
so
Luis
once,
and Kolasinac, we should give it.
one second, Anjan. Now you understand the difficulty of doing a podcast, because Ankur is jobless. He doesn't want to sit, he doesn't want to sleep.
He doesn't want to close.
He doesn't want to go. I mean, our man was trying to close the podcast because it was getting a little boring, and then you just continued it.
No, we should give everybody a chance, right? Elroy deserves a chance to rate.
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Yep,
We will
yep,
even
yep. All
give the
right.
predictions for the City Real Madrid game also.
By the way, have you all
I'm
considered
watching that.
Miles as a defender or a midfielder?
No, midfielder.
Oh, okay.
Midfielder, midfielder.
Go on, Andra. Finish it off now. We're waiting for you to finish.
Okay. Okay, if I have to give Kolasinac just being nice, I would give him 2 out of 10. And Luis, I would agree with others and give a 4 out of 10. Because, see, there are big games which he have won, and Luis was the factor in those games. Like Wolves, United at home, Liverpool at home, then City at Wembley. He was the factor, so I would give him a 4 for sure.
Yep,
Okay,
fair
Andra. I
enough.
think you
I
can
So
close
think
it
there
up
you
now.
go, guys.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap,
Yep.
unless you have a
Yeah.
City Real Madrid quick prediction.
No, we can wrap.
No, we can take it
Wait, you
offline.
guys
So
didn't
there you
give
go.
you guys didn't give Macy a point, Matt Macy a point.
Messi is 10 on 10, man.
No, Matt Macy. I mean, come on,
Okay.
he's won more trophies than players like Harry Kane and all right now.
We've given
Yeah,
him
for
a
all the
one for his height.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Keep listening. Bangalore Gooners podcast.